Okay, now Vareniki, very famous Russian dumplings with variety of stuffing. But you probably know the another famous Russian dumpling, which is called pelmeni. So pelmeni usually always have meat inside, minced meat inside, and what differs them from ravioli, for example, that the meat is raw. It's just minced meat with onions. You cook it, you cook the meat through, they are done. Vareniki, the same dough, the same pasta, but inside there can be vegetables, fruits, and in Russia. So in these dumplings you have cherries with sugar inside. Really simple dough. I will mix it with my hands. I don't need any machine, but if you have a machine, of course you can use it. So, flour, half of egg, half of egg, sugar, salt, milk with water, vegetable oil, and you mix it. The harder your dough is, the better, but keep in mind that if you'll make it too hard, it'll be really not easy for you to work with, so there should be compromise. When I work with my hands with a roller pin, I always make my dough a little bit softer, so I'm not suffering when I roll it. But if I work with pasta machine, you have any, just reduce liquid a little bit, so the vareniki gonna be firmer when you cook them, boil them. So first you mix all the ingredients with your hand in a bowl, and after that you may remove your bowl and keep mixing on a board or on the table. Mix approximately 5-6 minutes with your hands, or approximately 10 minutes with your mixer, till your dough is smooth and silky, like this. This one is ready. Cover it with the cling film or wet towel. Now for the stuffing. It's not season, so we don't have any fresh cherries, but I have peated frozen cherries. But the trick is that if I will defrost them, they're gonna put out too much water, too much juice, and it's gonna be really hard to seal them, which is why I work with the frozen peated cherries. They're still frozen, as you can see. Now, I add sugar, because they're quite sour, and I add a little bit of a cornstarch. Why? Because when I'm gonna buy the ready varenik, I don't want all the juice to run out. I want it to be more thick. So a little bit of cornstarch will help me with that. Mix it. You can leave it for 5-10 minutes, but you don't want them to be defrosted completely, otherwise it's going to be pain to seal them. So my stuffing is ready. What you can add here, a little touch of a cinnamon or a little touch of a turmeric. Of course, turmeric is not Russian spice at all, but it would fit well with this dish. Now, flour, a little bit. If you have a pasta machine, you are saved. Otherwise, you need to work a little bit. So your pasta rested. Keep it rested for at least half an hour. so gluten will work, the flour will work. And after that, you start to roll it. First with your hands and after with the roller pin. If you don't have a roller pin at home, this one can save you, because sometimes we work like this. You roll it as thin as possible. If you work with a pasta machine, of course, you can roll it as thin as you want, but with a hand roller pin, keep rolling till it's, I don't know, less than 1 millimeter thick. Just like ravioli dough. Okay, as you can see, my dough is thin enough. This is less than 1 millimeter. Now you need to cut it. I have a ring. You maybe don't have a ring, but maybe you have a glass. In Soviet Russia, we used to cut it with a glass, like this. But I prefer, of course, rings. Cut. Like this. It's time to put your water on. So I cut like this. After that, a little bit of egg mixture. Why I need it? I want it to be easier to seal. But keep in mind that if you put too much of egg here, it will work like glue. If you put too much glue on something, you will never stick it together. So just a little bit of egg, whipped egg. If there is too much of egg, just remove it, like this, remove it. Now you're ready to seal it. Now this will help you. Okay, so you take a piece of a pasta rolled dough. It's quite sticky, it's okay. Few berries, 2 or 3, but don't put too much, otherwise it's going to be really hard to seal it. You seal it with pressure. Apply a lot of pressure here. You want it to be sealed good, like this. A little bit of flour on the table, on the board or something. And you seal the rest of it. Two or 3 berries. Start from a center and go from a center to the edges. I can see that 3 berries are too much, so next time I will put 2. Because it's really hard to seal if there are 3. See? I'll take 2 of them. There should be balance between the dough and the stuffing. It's not good when you feel only the stuffing, only the cherries, and you don't feel the dough at all, because it should be tasty. Anyway, 2 or 3. So we're done with vareniki. One more thing, we need to seal them a little bit like this with a fork. Of course, my wife from Ukraine, she makes really nice, weird stuff here with her fingers, but my fingers are too big. So I use fork, and I suggest to you to use fork as well, like this. You seal it, and you make it more nice. On this stage, you can add extra flour on them and freeze and cook later. So now we need to boil them. For sure you need to add a little bit of salt in your water. And if you want, you can also add a little bit of sugar, but just a small touch. You put them in. You mix it with your spoon, so they don't stick to the bottom of a pan, of a pot. Sorry. I've been boiling them for like 5 minutes. I wanna be sure that my cherries is not frozen, since it's gonna be ready anyway. But the pasta is cooked through, since I can see it's floating on the top. After that, of course, I want to add a little bit of butter to my vareniki, which is why I have a melted butter here. 1 more minute, I'm gonna transfer my vareniki to my pot. So, they're ready. Now, I put it here. This one is broken, so I don't need it. And now, a little stir. Butter should always be with vareniki or with pelmeni. Touch of butter is always good. Just like this. After, you are ready to plate your desserts. Yeah, I forgot to tell you. Usually you eat it for a breakfast, or you can have it as a dessert. Of course, I'm gonna serve it with a little bit of smetana, because it's Russian cuisine. We use smetana in almost every dish, no? And I'm gonna finish it with a touch of icing sugar. And of course, you can add a little bit of cherries with your sugar on top to make your dish look pretty. Just like this. Now your vareniki with cherry are ready. You can have it as a dessert. Of course, you can have it as a dinner. And since you can freeze them anyway, you can have it as a breakfast, because it takes only 10 minutes to cook.